Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coachart's volunteer orientation. My name is Molly Durr. I am the Deputy Director, and I'm looking forward to walking you through some more information to get you ready to start volunteering. So as folks are coming in, we want to welcome you. We encourage you to put your video on, but if not, I totally understand. You can change your name if you haven't already to your first name and your last initial. That would be awesome. We'll give everyone a couple minutes to arrive. And while we're doing that, I'll go over the agenda for today. So we're going to do a quick icebreaker using the chat box. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what some of our Coachart kids are going through and help you prepare to work with some of our Coachart kids. We're going to talk about the different volunteer opportunities that we have. I'm going to show you, how you'll be able to access those volunteer opportunities and get started. And lastly, I'm going to show you our Coach Corner website, which has all kinds of good resources for you. So to start with, we'll do our little chat box icebreaker. There are two questions. You're welcome to answer one or both of them. The first is, what was your favorite arts or athletics activity as a kid? I love theater and did all kinds of school plays and theater workshops, so that was my favorite. So go ahead and type in what your favorite was, along with letting us know what drew you to volunteer with Coachart. For me, I had, like I said, done theater all my life, and then I did the Peace Corps in Africa, where I was working with kids who had HIV and AIDS, and that made me realize I wanted to do something to help people as opposed to pursuing theater as a career. So when I found Coachart, it was this combination of helping people using the thing that I loved, which was the arts. And of course, we do the athletics as well. So that's what drew me here. I'm curious to hear what it was for you. Maybe you're fulfilling some volunteer hour requirements, or maybe there was something about the mission that really drew you in. So let us know, and that'll be great to kind of get to know each other that way. So while you're typing in your answers, we will go ahead and move into some of the slides. So first, I wanted to talk a little bit about what the impact of chronic illness might be on some of the children that you end up working with. As you can imagine, oftentimes kids who are going through major medical issues is that they get left out, whether it's because they have a lot of doctor's appointments, whether it's because they have a limitation that makes it difficult for them to enroll in things like Little League, or maybe it's a financial issue where the family is spending a lot of money on medical bills and it's hard for them to fund some of these extracurricular activities. So there's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's doctor's orders. If they're immunocompromised, they can't participate. Of course, these kids are dealing with physical discomforts. A lot of times, these diseases manifest themselves in ways that are very uncomfortable, and that can be really challenging, along with the stress, anxiety, fear that can come along with a diagnosis. Unfortunately, some of these kids who are already going through so much get treated differently by the kids at school because a lot of times they're physically different, which just breaks my heart. So on top of everything else they're going through, they're having to deal with that emotional trauma of feeling embarrassed, of being different, or maybe even being bullied. Studies have shown that kids with chronic illnesses are 25 to 50% more susceptible to be diagnosed with depression than kids who don't have a chronic illness. So clearly, all the things we've already mentioned play into that. So that, becomes really important for these kids to have an outlet, which we'll talk about, Coachart can be. The other thing to note is that the chronological age of a child doesn't always match the developmental age. Sometimes it's because of the effects of the treatments. Sometimes it's because they're missing out on school. So it's really important that we meet each child where they're at and we don't make any assumptions, about what level they might be learning on, or might be meeting us at for the lessons. So we'll tell you more about how to get to know where your student's at and to meet them there. And then I'm sure, as a lot of you might have experienced or know, it's not just the child with the chronic illness that's going through a lot. It's also the siblings that might feel left out, neglected, worried, that might get dragged along to a lot of these appointments, and then the parents too often bear the heaviest weight of the illness and what that really means for the child. So to counteract some of these really challenging impacts of chronic illness, Cochart really provides this amazing chance for kids to learn new skills that will allow them to express themselves, share their feelings, relieve stress. All of our group activities are in a really supportive and safe, inclusive space where everybody's going to be successful. We really aim to build confidence in these kids. No matter where they start at, we hope to get them to a point where they're learning something new and feeling more confident that they can do things that they might not have thought that they could do. And really the most important thing is the relationship. Oftentimes it doesn't matter whether or not a child learns a particular song on the piano. It's more about them getting to spend time with an amazing coach like you. So we have two different types of lessons. The one that's in the most demand from our volunteers is the one-on-one lessons. These are incredibly impactful, where you can see here a student is learning one-on-one with one of our coaches. Pre-COVID, these all took place in the student's home, and volunteers would actually travel there. Now they're all virtual, and once we feel comfortable going back to a mix, you'll have the option to choose whether you want to go to the student's home if they live nearby, or whether you want to work virtually. These typically last 8 weeks for an hour a week. We provide all the materials. I'll go through a little bit more about that. And at the end of the 8 weeks, we'll check in with you. If it's going really well and you've got a great relationship with your student, we'll invite you to continue, but that is definitely not a requirement. You can either pause, take a break, work with a different student. You can just let us know. So these are really, really amazing, both from the children's perspective and our volunteers. We also offer these group classes. You can see one here being hosted by one of our staff members, Eric. Again, these used to all be in person, and now we're doing these online using Zoom. So right now we don't have too many volunteer opportunities here, although we will be sending you a survey asking if you're interested in leading one of these group classes, and we would work with you on that. But the majority of these at the moment are being led by our staff. So we do all types of different activities in a group setting. So the next thing I want to show you is our Cochart Connect matching platform. This is available both as a browser version and as an app. So let me see, I think I have this linked. Sorry about this. Okay, let me go over to Salesforce, and I'll log in as one of our, well, actually I can go here. So Coach Corner, after this training, within a day, I will send you an email inviting you to log on here. And this is where you'll see the available students who would love to work one-on-one with you. When you log on, it will already know what you can teach and where you live, since you already input all the information. So there's two different views. You can see students ranked by how long they're waiting for a match, and these students might be anywhere throughout the country. And so if they don't live in the same proximity to you, obviously these students would default to be online lessons. And then you'll see a local students tab. If there are students that live nearby you, they would show up here. And you know, these might be within 10, you know, they're all under 30 miles of you. And so for these folks, once things are safe to go back meeting in person, you'll be able to select whether or not you want to work in person or online with one of the kids. So once you have a chance to look over the kids, if you hover on the photo, it'll give you some more information about each student. And then you'll see if they have any limitations. You can request to work with them. If you have overlapping activities, you'll choose the one that you're the most excited to teach. If they have a sibling, that will show up, and you can choose whether or not you want to also work with a sibling. And then you'll input your availability for each day of the week. If you're not available a certain day, you can leave that blank. Once you hit submit, this will automate a text message to the family letting them know that you're interested in teaching their child whatever activity it is, and it'll ask them to select from the times that you provided. You'll hear back within a few days. We give the family a few days and a couple reminders to schedule with you. If they're not available or they don't respond, we'll notify you and ask you to log back in and request another student. And if they do select a time, we'll text you and ask you to confirm by texting back yes. And at that point, we'll automate a series of emails introducing you to the family and getting you ready for your lessons. So this is our Cochart Connect platform. And you'll also be able to utilize some of these other tabs to update your preferences, your address, etc. So that's this awesome platform, and we hope that you find it useful. We're also very open to feedback, so let us know if anything's not working well, if you have any ideas for how we can improve this platform. So the next resource I wanted to show you was this Coach Corner website. So you can access it right from the app. Or it'll also be in the emails that we send your way. So here is your go-to place for all things Cochart. This Getting Started tab will be a great place to get started, as you might guess. So while that loads up here, this will show you information, it'll walk through what I just showed you about how to log into Cochart Connect. And then it'll give you some tips before your first lesson. We really encourage you to connect with your family. We'll send an email introducing you, but you want to find out what materials or equipment the child has for the lessons. You want to ask more about specific limitations or tips for you to help teach their child. You want to learn what skill level they're at. And of course, you want to share some information about yourself. So once you have that information, you want to start thinking about what you want to teach. And we have a tab for planning your one-on-one lessons that I'll open up in a minute. And you can go ahead and order your materials directly and submit a reimbursement. We have a little budget laid out for you. So for example, if you're doing arts and crafts, your budget is $85 for the 6 weeks for your student. And you can also use that same budget for yourself if you don't already have the materials on hand. If you're not able to come out of pocket and get reimbursed, you can contact your program manager and they will order the materials for you. But if you are able to come out of pocket, you can use this reimbursement form, and it should walk you through the process of uploading your receipts, and we will get that check out to you to pay you back for those supplies. For planning your lessons, we have an outline. The first week should really be about introducing yourself and the activities, then get in over the next few weeks of the programming, and then you'll want to do some kind of fun wrap up or celebration. We've got some great ideas. We have a page just for that as well. And we also have some skill assessment ideas as well as some activity inspiration on this page. We also have a tab in this website that's specific to online lessons. So our online lesson guide, these are some tips for planning activities. We have these Pinterest boards for different suggestions as well. And the online lesson guide that I just mentioned will walk you through how to translate activities that are typically done in person to online. So we've got a lot of great tips here as well. And on this Preparing for Your Lessons tab, we even break it down by activity type and give some specific ideas for how to translate that lesson online. So this should have everything you need to get started. If anybody has any questions, I will take them now. Otherwise, we're very excited to have you on board as our newest Cochart volunteers.